So do you feel how these are exciting times to be alive as a human? Or do you feel afraid? Do you feel concerned? The exciting times are times of evolution, times of real change, real transformation. And all that we are being invited in these times is to come to our true nature. It's the only thing that we need to support us to be able to see clearly what is happening and to navigate these times of great transformation and evolution in the human realm, we could say. That fear will tell us that we need all sorts of things. Fear will tell us to shut down and hunker in and get ready for the big waves. But the truth is that all that we need is being constantly offered to us, which is to essentially wake up to our true nature, to be awake to the truth of who we are, and to realize that we are prepared and that we have been making ourselves ready and available for grace. And that all that is happening in the play of the world, be it the sense of the play of my life, the individual life, or how that segues into the play of the world, that everything that's happening, however catastrophic it seems, chaotic, everything is the means for the awakening. Everything is the means for our evolution. So that is why it is exciting times, is because the way that the intelligence uses the play of life is to rouse us to ask the deeper questions, to rouse us to wake up from being a consciousness that is divided and dormant and happy to rest in a kind of sluggish sense of me, just wanting a happy life for me. And it's asking us to go deeper, to find out who we are in truth, to discover the intelligence that we are, the light that we are, and to see beyond the limitations of the play of the world as viewed from a limited point of consciousness, aka me, right? That the me sees limitation, the me sees from fear, from limitation, and from a sense of, am I safe? Do I fit in? Where do I fit in? What is my purpose? But when we come to realize that the whole play of life is rousing us, rallying us to be able to see that we are living pioneers, and we are being invited to embody that frequency of pioneer. We're not being invited to rest in a sluggish state. We're being invited to realize that change is evolution, and change is a rebellion. It's a rebellion of love. It's a rebellion out of the belief that power is outside us, out of the belief in limitation and division from the glory, to actually discover what it is to live this reality, to actually live awake to the true nature, and so then be the embodied pioneer of love, of light, to be carrying the frequency of the evolutionary impulse that is constantly opening to a greater revelation of itself. So from this viewpoint, these are exciting times. Change is exciting. Transformation is enlivening, because it's actually life force. It's vital life force. We're being invited to engage on the deepest level to discover where true life force is, to open to the infinite field of possibility, of creative intelligence, creativity, and to go beyond the limitations, the dullness, the density, the belief in separation. We're being invited to truly step up and in and out of the belief in confinement and restriction. We're being invited to step in and out and up into the fullness of our unique expression of the divine, to be an emanation of the divine, walking the earth plane. As I have said many times, this evolution of human consciousness is not a patching up. It's not about humanity remaining the same and patching itself up, like kind of finding a way to kind of make it work. It's actually about, in the waking up, in the seeing of true nature and opening to reality, it's actually about living in a completely different frequency dimension. Sometimes it's spoken about as the 3D, the play of the world in limitation, in fear, is sometimes spoken as the 3D and the third dimension. And of course, there's a truth to that, but it's that essentially it's the sense of the life lived in separation, in division, is a life that is not fully embracing the multidimensional capacity of the intelligence that we are. It's not fully embracing and living the fullness, the wholeness of what we are. And life itself is creating everything that is playing out on the surface of life to bring us to recognize, realize, and to live this. So what is interesting and curious is, as these words come, like, notice what happens in your field, in your heart. Does the sense of the invitation to actually gaze upon, look upon the shifting, changing, the transformation, and actually take in what is happening, does that feel evolutionary and exciting and transformative, or does it feel scary? Does it feel like, I don't really know that I want that. I just want things to be easy, and I just want to, sit in my rocking chair with my carpet slippers on, and just, I don't want to deal with any of that stuff. Because that sense of not wanting to deal with any of that stuff shows us, right? It's a marker, it's a message that shows us that we are somehow opposing or resisting our own self, the fullness of our self. Because this evolution is about undividing the life, as we speak of, right? And undividing the life is about bringing everything in the lived experience into the illuminated seeing of wholeness, that everything belongs. It's not transcending the play of the world. It's not about transcending the material reality. It's about embracing all of it as a wholeness, seeing it from a perspective that sees clearly that everything is made from the same essence, and that it's not about getting away, because we can't ever be free if we're not fully embracing everything that is part of the lived experience. And it's through the embrace that we realize the wholeness of everything. And it's the parts of us that want to protect and not face the deepest sense of darkness or division, that wants to escape from some part of life. But this evolution is like a rebalancing and harmonizing through our lived experience, which has the capacity to shift the consciousness of humanity out of division, right? It's powerful. This is not small potatoes, right? This is this is powerful, true power. This is what we are made of. This is what we are here for. And kind of tapping into where our consciousness knows that, where we feel the attunement and the yes, that's where we discover, like, wow, I'm ready for this, right? I've either made myself ready or I was born ready, right? And it doesn't matter where we are in the play of it, but that recognition that we have been making ourselves ready for a universal embrace, a knowing of ourselves, a depth of awakening that is an illumination that reveals that the shadows do not exist in a way that has power over us, that the shadows are beliefs, the shadows are ideas, that the shadows themselves do not keep us bound, but it's this willingness to be the light that illuminates, that truly has the power to illuminate, the love that truly has the power to embrace and welcome what seems to be dark and discordant and come out of denial and to really meet what life is offering us to meet. And there's no way around this evolutionary process. It's an intelligence. There's no way around it. But there is the possibility to just rest in a limited dimension. It's totally possible. And on a certain level, there's a free will for that. There's a free will to rest. Essentially, the evolutionary impulse will be active in every being in some way. But we have the power to resist and oppose. And we have the power to receive and accept. And of course, the power to receive, accept, allow, welcome is the power of love, the technology of love. And the capacity to resist and oppose is the false power of fear. And yet that fear will feel like a powerful binding agent in limitation and lack if it's unquestioned and unmet. And we could even say unloved, because everything is coming forward to be loved, to be included in love. Everything is coming forward to be welcomed and to be transmuted and alchemized through the nervous system, through the consciousness, and to be opened as the revelation of our true nature and what this reality is and what it is to live this. And that is where we start to really see these are exciting times. These are times that are powerful and potent for true change, for true transformation to happen. And that everything that is coming forward that feels to be discordant is to offer us the reflection and the means to meet ourselves more deeply, to illuminate what is in the shadows and holding us bound in our lives, and bring what is in the shadows to the light. And so essentially we have a mechanism in our consciousness that we recognize, which is a sense of longing, a sense of aliveness, a sense of feeling the aliveness, the attunement, the recognition, the spark, the flame, the fire for this truth, for this evolution, where we can feel that whatever is happening, that we're being invited to meet ourselves in every situation, in every way, in order to untangle the deepest beliefs. And those deep beliefs are held as a collective in the humanity, the fear, the doubt, the shame, the lack, the sense of unworthiness, the hurt, the sense of being divided from wholeness, being abandoned and rejected, the sense of disappointment, the sense of being punished, the belief that life is not trustworthy, and the belief that we are not safe, that life is not safe, and that we are constantly trying to fit in and belong and cohere with division, cohere with the collective division and limitation, instead of cohering with love. So of course the presence of now brings us into a direct experience where we can cohere with the true nature, where we unify through the heart, through the being, into a field of presence where we are one, into the field of living intelligence. In a way, as we gather, we are bringing online the awareness, awakeness, the presence and capacity to be available for grace, right? We're not trying to ever make anything happen because it's impossible. But we are making ourselves ready and available, and we are attuning in more and more subtle ways to the capacity that we have to be naturally intuitive, to listen deeply, and to be present with and to our lived experience at a frequency level that has the possibility for true transmutation, alchemizing, and change to happen in our lived experience. So that we rediscover that we are not powerless, that we are incredibly potent, powerful, intelligent beings, and that we have learned that to fit in and belong, that we have to dumb ourselves down. But it's not true. It's absolutely not true. But it takes a fiercely courageous heart and soul, a soul that is already somewhat illumined and called deeply for this evolution, right? So in a way, here we are, like we're always fanning the flames of what we are already wired for, what we are here for. We're fanning the flames to bring a remembrance so that we cohere together and our field is coherent, in love, activated, alive, welcoming of grace. We are at the threshold of an evolution in human consciousness that we cannot hide from. We cannot pretend that we don't recognize it. It's shaking us awake. It's shaking us to be present and to, in a way we could say, ask ourselves these questions about change and transformation. Just where we started, does it feel exciting or does it feel frightening? And it's okay if there's fear, because that in itself is an exciting opportunity to meet that fear, right? It's not about pretending that I'm feeling all in and all about it. It's like, well, I'm feeling the yes, and I feel that this is what I'm wired for. I feel the knowing of this truth. And the unknown feels like it brings some fear and trepidation. And in a way, as we gather, we get this opportunity to enliven the love and to deepen the love and the awakeness of our field, the presence that we are, the ground of being that we are, and at the same time meet the fear and trepidation, and together to transmute in order to bring a greater coherence. So the curiosity about how we really feel about these times that we're living in, what touches us, what concerns us, what does it feel like to be at a frontier, in a way, of evolutionary up-leveling of consciousness. What are we attached to? What are we hanging on to? What would hold us back? And in a way, recognizing where that spark is, that spark of knowing, that spark of truth, that is the fire of love. That is the fire that is transmutative and alchemizing through the nervous system, shifting the discordant patterns of consciousness, not as a project, but as a natural byproduct of enlivening the yes of the heart. That naturally, when we are living in the yes, when we are cohered to the unified field, the frequency of yes, the frequency of love, naturally reorganizes and alchemizes what is ready to be seen through. So everything that is playing out on the world stage is for us. Everything that's playing out is actually the means. And so our unique lived experience and what we see and how we are stirred and what arises for us as a field of feeling, sensing, of trigger, of charge, of aliveness, of energy, is when we are present, truly present as presence, we are going to feel the field and its discordance as we feel the field and its beingness, right? We can't really choose to just feel the beingness and ignore the discordance, because it's feeling the beingness that gives us the subtle capacity, the refined capacity to feel the discordance. And it's in feeling and meeting and welcoming any discordance that is present in the field that harmonizes and unifies our lived experience. Yeah. So our greatest asset, superpower, is presence itself, and is the ability to rest and to be present with, as and to whatever is arising in the field and whatever comes onto the screen of our lived experience, so that we can meet with love and care and compassion, natural allowing and acceptance, anything that is coming up for review, anything that life is calling us to be with, that the unloved, unmet, unspoken parts will be called into the light, because the natural integral flow of wholeness, the flow of love, is to come back for all of itself. Like love is an all-inclusive, all-encompassing technology that will keep flowing to collect and gather all of itself into the light of clear seeing, into the resting. So the capacity that we naturally have to rest is the natural, let's say, counterintuitive, according to the mind, that feels like we have to action and do and work it out. That in resting we connect to the intuitive knowing, we connect to the feeling, sensing field, being the being that is the field of silent presence. And here is where the alchemy, the transmutation, and the recalibrations are naturally happening. But there's a reorganization that takes as long as it takes to surrender the sense of protective doing and trying to understand. So in a way, in any moment, we're really just being invited to notice what is present in the field, what is here, and that more and more subtle capacity to feel, notice and be with what feels to be discordant, so that our lived experience is one of openness, is a lived experience of almighty yes, and is not a lived experience of opposition and resistance. That we are attuned to an intuitive knowing, so we know within ourselves, like an inner sense of what is true for me, for this one, right? And of course, that sense, it refines and refines to be like a true intuitive sense, because we could say there can be a belief that it's an intuitive sense and a feeling of like, this is what feels true, but that can absolutely be protective, right? That protection feels right and true for me. And that's absolutely okay, because we are learning to be in an autonomy. And yet, as we truly listen, we listen more and more deeply, and the protection will start to fall away, so that our intuition, our intuitive knowing actually really reconnects to true intuitive knowing that is aligned with the divine. And our understanding of what intuition is moves from being a protective stance, that the inner sense says, this is what feels true for me, which can absolutely be protective, right? You can see that what feels true is to protect myself. And that's okay. Because when we trust that, we're giving like a deeper messaging so that the nervous system can relax into trusting that I feel to protect myself here. And in that deep listening, the protection finds a safety that starts to open more deeply. So ultimately, this is an adventure that is about soaking in love and recognizing love's truth. Because it's love's truth that carries us into our unique adventure in this lifetime more deeply. Yeah. So just noticing what is happening in your field, your heart. How do these questions and this sharing enliven or stir? What do they bring forward for you? Is there an enlivening of what is possible? Is there a stirring of what feels fearful? How does transformation and change sit in your field in this moment? Can you feel how the words that are coming in this sharing as a transmission field, how do they touch and enliven, align with what you are noticing in your lived experience of what is happening in the play of the world right now? Because everything that is happening in the lived experience is this opportunity. It is the means to deepen.